Virat, you can.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you can start with a welcome.
Hello, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to our exclusive Masterclass League and hosted by our MCom Committee of HR College. Today, we are came with one of the finest topic, which is leverage of personal branding in placement. So, today, to continue with the successful journey of Masterclass League, we have with us Ritu Mehta, ma'am. So I would like to welcome you all and welcome Ritu ma'am for this wonderful masterclass, which is hosted by our MCom committee. I would also like to welcome our principal, Dr. Pooja ma'am, for this masterclass. So I request Urjin to introduce our speaker for today's session.
Thank you, Viraj. Our speaker today is a talent branding specialist at LT Mindtree. She's an ex TCS, a career coach and content creator, specialized in recruitment and employer branding, certified in HRO, niche recruiting, and recruiting talent with social media, and the winner of On the Spot Award twice, associated with TCS. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Miss Mehta.
We also have our principal Pooja ma'am who's here. So thank you, ma'am, for joining in. And Ritu ma'am, thank you for being there with us today. We can start with our masterclass. Pooja ma'am would I'm sure, want to say a few things to us before we begin.
Yeah, first of all, a warm welcome to Ritu and a marketing brand manager that I was reading. So, expecting a great session with you. Ritu, just to tell you, this is an MCom committee of few students who come together because lot many are working, so they want to now get on to hands-on experience in the market. So the sessions are now from academics to industry. And master class series are a series where students find the speaker themselves and interact with them in such a way that it will help them in their industry and the future and for further placements or employments, whichever field they choose. So a warm welcome to you, dear, from HR College and brand ambassadors of HR College. Looking forward to a good session, and I will not come between you, the students. I will only say that this is online, but we would also love to have you offline in the campus so that students meet you one-on-one. And for all the students who are not able to attend it, we are putting the recording on YouTube so that the experience of this session and the usefulness of this session reaches to the entire students of HR College. So welcome to Ritu once again, and God bless you for agreeing, accepting our invite to talk to MCom students as well as undergraduate students, and the session is yours.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am, and thank you the whole team. I hope I'm audible. Yeah, I am. Okay, that's great. So, thank you all for inviting me in. It gives me an immense pleasure to interact with students. Of course, being a content creator, it was always a dream for me to interact with students. And having 6 years of HR experience, it was always. It was always a dream to interact with them, tell them what challenges they face, how we can help them, and a couple of things around it. So thank you to the committee, and let me start the session. But before that, I would like you all to just turn on your videos because this would be an interactive one. So I would like to see your faces and before we start. And yeah, this would be an interactive one. So I will be asking questions, and I need the chat box to be filled with answers. Great. I am looking forward. Yeah, great. I'm looking forward for everyone turning on the videos. Wow, happy to see such lovely faces. Wow, beautiful. Okay, lovely. So, to start on, I wanted this to be an interactive one because, of course, there would be questions from your end, and there would be questions from my end too. So let's have it interactive session. So first of all, wanted to understand from the whole forum that how many of you are aspiring to get a job post your graduation or post your studies? How many of you? Uh, just type in yes in the comment box, in the chat box. Let me see. How many of you want to go ahead in the market and search for jobs? Great. I can see Nandini, I can see Anish, Ansh, I can see Mehak, I can see Kashish. Great, great. And okay. And now, how many of you are inspired by Shark Tank, right? And want to become an entrepreneur? Type in yes in the comment box if you want to become an entrepreneur. Let me see how many of you guys are in for entrepreneurship. It's not tough. It's not tough. Great. Ansh has said yes for both the things. Okay, yes, but after a few years of corporate, makes sense. Makes complete sense. What next? What next? Who else is yes for entrepreneurship? I think I got yes from both Ansh and Karan itself. Okay, no worries. Let's take it ahead. So there are multiple options in finance and in commerce background, as you all know, right? So when you enter into corporate, there are couple of segments or couple of job roles. Like first is investment banking. If I give you what name of a corporate, JP Morgan and Bank of America has an excellent team of investment bankers. So, first is investment banking, a great career option to go for post your graduation or post graduation. Next is commercial banking, a great segment to work with. Actuary, great segment. Accountant, you have couple of accounts here, like cost accountant. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are CA or pursuing CA. Can you guys let me know how many of you are pursuing CA? Just say CA in the chat box. If someone of you are pursuing CA. Okay, one, two, great. Three, great, great. Okay. So for CA, I believe, I'm not sure whether you are under an articleship period or you will be going in an articleship period. Okay. But articleship for CA is a very important period. It's a very crucial period because it's a very drilling period for all of them, because that is the first phase you face when it comes to uh, when it comes to encountering your boss, when it comes to your work, when it comes to your deadlines, the deadlines are so big. See, guys, I'm not trying to scare you, but it's an initial experience, and anything initial is a bit painful. But then when you learn, the other period or the other years of your corporate experience will not be that tough. So articleship period is very important when it comes to uh, uh, professional degrees like CA. And students learn a lot. I mean, meeting deadlines, smart work. There are a couple of things which I will give examples in this session as well for you all to relate it. Now, I have one of my best friends who is a CA, and she works in a board, and one thing which he told me that, Ritu, there are many times our work is being stolen. So you learn how you can preserve your work, how you can, showcase your work to your bosses. It's very important that how do you propagate what you do in your professional life to your manager or to your supervisor. See, work can be done by anyone, but it's all about how you portray as well. If you do a fantastic job, but you do not portray it well in front of your manager, you won't get hired. So that's how, many things in articleship are tough, but eventually you learn. So it's a great exposure, uh, creating trust, yeah. But most probably, in spite of trust, it's like how much you propagate it, because there are times in my area as well. So basically, I work as a branding specialist, and at this point, I wanted to take it up, but then. Uh, now in colleges, we are all studying in the same degree or in the same level. We are almost on pursuing the same kind of education, right? But when you go to corporate, it is not that. It's like you compete with an IIM Nagpur as well. So in my situation, it is. I am a MBA grad, but then I'm competing with one of the B school grads, and she is of the same team. Like, we both are from the same team. The thought process differs, the planning differs, but many a times it is very important for us. If we have one initiative, it is very important to just preserve it and propagate it in a way that you can show it to their bosses, super bosses also, to the leadership team also. I'll come back with the example. So it's, IEM and other B schools, and even if you pursue MBA, the main crux of the MBA is to work with senior leadership. Now, who all are senior leadership? It is uh, COO, one level down from COO, your super bosses, talent acquisition heads or finance heads, uh, directors of finance. And in finance, there are multiple departments. So, as coming to that, risk and credit management is also one of the biggest segment where one can specialize into. And securities market is also vast. So, uh, security exchange like NSE and BSE have certifications as well. So you all can browse through their website and pursue those certifications as well. That will help you have an additional advantage to your resume. So when I see a fresher's resume other than CA, okay, I'll come back to CA, but other than CA, they have only graduation degree, post-graduation degree, colleges, that's it. There's nothing more which they offer. So for you to be employable, to for your resume to be very, very demanding for us to interview, it's very important for you to have employable skills. Now, what is that? NSC, BSc certifications, if you want to pursue securities, if you want to get into security segment. Then I also got to know about CFP, which is a global recognized degree, Chartered Financial Planner. So that is a global recognized degree, other than India as well. Then also ACCA courses. You can go to acccaglobal.com. So, they have couple of full-time courses, part-time courses. You guys can, even in my Instagram, I always uh, create content on what courses a person or a financial student can go and enroll into. Yeah, CFA is also one of the good courses which is globally recognized, of course. And again, fraud examiners, CFE, that is also one of the biggest and one of a value added certification which one can do. So when we look at a resume of a fresher, especially of a finance student, you make sure that they have certifications. because at the end they don't have work experience, but at these certifications we will have a look. At least this student has an this student has an understanding of these basic concepts which are included in these modules. So that's one. Okay, let me look at the questions. If I'm interested in going for a marketing and sales role, what are good short-term courses? Okay, very good question. So, if you are pursuing, if you want to go in such a role, digital marketing is one of the biggest courses which one can learn. The other thing is, when you go to a marketing and sales role, it is very important for you to understand, and even finance students, it is very important for you to understand that how will you bring sales? How will you bring revenue to the organization? Why will someone recruit? You need to have a sales strategy in place. So when you get into an interview, especially for a marketing role or a finance role, tell them your strategy, the problem statement and the strategy. And the problem statement lies in the role which you are applying for. So coming back to courses, you have good digital marketing courses on Udemy. Uh, uh, I would suggest for sales role, get into on the job as well. Like we learn on the job as well. But then uh, get into post graduation courses uh, with a renowned university or a renowned institute. Wellinger is one of them. IIM is one of them, because I am personally interacting with a colleague of mine who is IIM Nagpur, and she is certified in marketing and branding. So yeah, but again, you need to have a strategy in place, especially when you go for marketing and sales roles, and even finance roles for that matter. I'll come into that, but then, yeah, for this, I would definitely recommend. Other than that, just to share an example with you all, I am majors in HR, human resources, and I was a recruiter from past 6 years, not even 5.2 years. And from May onwards, I went into talent branding, which is wholly into marketing. Now, why I was put here? Because I had a content creation. I love content creation. I do create content on Instagram and YouTube. That's something which I love doing, other than my full-time job. Leaders, I was in the eye of leaders, and they just pulled me into this new role. And honestly, I am pursuing, like I'm actually doing such a task that actually a marketing professional should do. I'm learning marketing jargons. I'm learning how shall I create content. I mean, how shall I write content? Ideally, that was not my specialization, but then I'm still learning. So, and at the end, when I see myself that, hey, I was an HR professional, now I'm into marketing. What the hell I'm doing? But then when you go in a leadership role, all your experience will come into one plate to guide your team members. Now, there would be I don't know, but I might be given a team who has marketing professionals, who has HR professionals as well, and ideally finance professionals as well. So I am getting a flavor to work with everyone. So this is how we learn. But when it comes to students, I would suggest be open to learn. We all are students at the entire lifetime. So, in corporates, there are multiple roles where your expertise will be needed. So be vocal, be be very open to accept new challenges. So yeah. Any further questions? Then also there is also one career option, which is hedge fund planner. JP Morgan, Bank of America, uh, Deutsche Bank, all these big financial institutions have such kind of open positions. So you all, if you all are pursuing into finance, can go into such roles. And for CA professionals, there are multiple facets of roles open. So credit and risk management is one of them. Then there's compliance also, financial compliance. So the role, generally that role revolves around if there are any reporting errors, or if there are any errors in funds or debts, or in the all financials of the company overall. It's a huge department. Then financial institutions like Deutsche, and international banks like JP Morgan. And I'm constantly saying this corporate name because JP Morgan is one of the highest recruiting financial institutions. So they recruit a lot of students and give opportunities as well. So that's one of the biggest institution which you all can target to, online, offline, anywhere. But then, yeah. And yeah, so these are certain areas for CA students as well. For CA as well as for non-CA professionals, non-CA students, I would suggest there is also one area which is called as financial advisors. Now, financial advisor as a role is way loud. They have numerous KRAs. But then it is very important for students who apply for financial advisory roles to look at the job description and read it very carefully and understand how much is your understanding when it comes to job role. And always try to find a question in the job role. Because if someone is asking you to have a good hands-on reporting, a person should have a good reporting tool, or good hands-on in the reporting tool or whatever. So it's very important to understand why is the job description telling us that it needs to be the person needs to be hands-on good when it comes to reporting. Why? It can be a reporting role, or and also for finance, marketing, as well as sales, or all these areas. Not for HRs, because for HRs there's a different Excel, if you talk about. But for all these students, I would suggest, this was not communicated to me when I was a student. So when the team approached me, I had this that I will share with the students. First thing, to learn Excel, macros, slicer immediately. Like if you have even some free time in your day, make sure you make it a habit to learn slicers, to learn how to run macros in an Excel, uh, how you can beautify your PPTs. And the PPTs which we see in corporates and even in colleges, way basic. Let me be blunt on this. When you present it to senior leadership, there is a lot of thought process which goes on the PPT. The first challenge when it comes to PPT is that you have so many things to cover in 4 points. So, that is an art which I feel students should start learning. I am learning now because I was not informed, or I was not educated on this. But then when you go into corporate, they don't give you a learning time. They just, you just need to just go ahead and start doing. You don't have time to even process. So if you all have time to learn, please learn Excel, macros, slicers, PPTs, advanced PPTs. We have Slides Go for reference PPTs. You can take some references from that. Learn how to put infographics in a PPT. Not that creative, but a bit of creative. Pastel colors, use pastel colors, not monochrome colors. Color scheme is very important. This I have learned period of time, because this role offers me to work with senior leadership. And when you work with senior leadership, you can't go with questions. You have to go with solutions to them. Uh, I feel we need to develop these thought process, start from right from a student itself. Okay, I got a question. I got to know that Morgan Stanley hire people for summer analyst internship? Yeah. Any reference for this opportunity? Yeah. Okay, Ansh, they do hire summer analyst internships. I mean, they do have, and they do hire interns for this particular role, and there are multiple roles. I generally post internship opportunities on my Instagram channel. You can go and follow me, Ritu Career Coach. There, I always, recently we had a Google internship opportunity. I had posted that. There are a couple of opportunities in Morgan Stanley as well, and even in there was one more internship program from Goldman Sachs. I had posted that. So whenever I come across any internship opportunities or job related opportunities, I post on my Instagram. So you can check that out. Check my page out. And any further questions? I take silence as a no then. So again, the other thing is interview prep skills. So interview prep is very important. Now, as I said, in Excel and macros and this financial, especially if you go on a finance interview, they ask you how will you do a reporting aspect of it. So they will give you a problem statement and how will you provide a solution, and how will you just propagate it in the in front of the leadership team. So that's how it that's how they examine what is the thought process when it comes to interview. The other thing is we all don't like group discussions. So when I was a student, I didn't like group discussions, but now I feel every meeting is a group discussion. And how do people judge? How do interviewers judge a group discussion? Because there are so many people talking at one go. But how? So when you are in a meeting or in a group discussion, how do you point out here? How do you vocalize your point is very important. So, that is how interviewers judge you. That if this person is able to vocalize their own point in a forum of 10 competitors, then definitely the person is capable to voice out the points in the whole forum. Because in meeting, you may never know. The meeting can be of 50 people, 100 people, 20 people, you may never know. And group discussions are just meetings. So, it's very important for us to vocalize and put that point forth. Okay, got a question. How to get into it? What HR see in a resume? That's correct. So exactly that's what I said in the earlier segment as well. That when it comes to resume of a fresher, we don't have much things to see other than the education qualification. But then when it comes to finance, marketing, and the core areas, we take we take a look at the certifications. So based on your certifications, we try to ask you questions revolving around it, and we as an interviewers have an understanding that if the person is a CFP, okay, for say, or if a person is into third level of CA, or the person is pursuing CA, we have an understanding what questions to ask you, what questions to test you on, so that's where in fact, when even I was in my MBA times, finance students and marketing students were asked to have certain certifications done so that they can upgrade their resume. So I would suggest pursue certifications. As well as I said, ACCA courses are good. Guys, go check it out. It's acccaglobal.com. They have a couple of certifications and they have a couple of diploma courses as well. And for finance, knowledge is vast and you have limited brain to store it. So, and have a habit of reading, especially for such kind of roles. Read what? Newspapers. Newspapers also, not regular newspaper. Economic Times is recommended. watch news channels like CNBC Awaaz or CNBC channel, because they have a lot of terms used, financial jargons used. You will have a handhold of it. And yeah, a couple of business news. I hope I answered your question. Then research well about the role. So when you apply for an internship or a job role, what do you see? A job description, right? This is required, this is required, this is required. But I would suggest try reading it in a different way. Try reading it as a problem statement. Now, if it requires this, do you have it? First question. Second question, if you have it, then how will you prove it? Third question, will you be comfortable in this role for 2-3 years? Because internal job rotation will take minimum 2 years. Are you comfortable in doing these tasks daily? Do you enjoy doing this task? If these 4 questions of yours are answered, I would suggest go and apply for the role. So, but when you apply for a role and when you apply for a certain company, make sure you research well about the company as well. So when I was in TCS, I had an opportunity to interview campus students, and what we observed is they used to fumble. So there were a couple of students which we interviewed, and they were fumbling in an interview. Now, see, fumbling is not bad, but then you fumble and you forget what you have to say and what things you have in mind, and you just, it's fucked up. So, don't fumble. And even if you're nervous, just have a sip of water, calm down, and then go into the cabin and have an interview done. Tell them you need 2 minutes to freshen up, and that's okay. That's completely fine. But then, many a time students were aware of the answers, but they were not able to communicate. So it is very important to uh, fill the gaps, gap fillers. Now, in communication, there are certain gap fillers as well. You should never do or avoid that. If you are doing unconsciously, it's fine, but then avoid such such areas where you have a certain pause, and because the interviewer just understands that this person is nervous, and in fact they will try to create more punching questions to you and make more nervous because they have got your nervousness, they have got your weakness. So I have also by screen sharing, how can you explain? Acha, can you analyze my resume? What should be more can be added? If yes, I'll send you so the people give their suggestions. Okay, I'll do that in the last segment, Ansh, for sure. In the last segment, I'll surely do that. So, coming back to interviews, yeah. So research well about the organization. When we asked a person, what do you know about TCS? And the person was like, it's an IT company, it's this. We all know it's an IT company, but what? What's the vision? How will you help us to go to that vision? Why should we hire you? These are certain questions which we expect a candidate to frame it and answer it to us. So basically, the analytical ability of a student is checked. Then industry, of course. Now, in an IT industry or in a financial industry, it's very competitive. So when you go for such brands, for interview in such brands, they look out at your analytical ability as well as how do you market it in an industry. Why do you want to get into IT only? So this question arose to me when I was looking out for opportunities other than TCS. I was looking for a change, and I got an opportunity from PwC. Before I came here, I had an offer from PwC. And this is a consulting firm. I knew it is, the culture depends, and industry shapes the culture of an organization. Now, how? Consulting firms like Deloitte, PwC, uh, what else? Deloitte, PwC, and KPMG, correct? McKinsey, yeah, these are well-renowned financial, consulting firms, and they are good to work with. But honestly, I feel there is growth as well, but then you don't have work-life balance there. I'm being very vocal on this forum that work-life balance, because they expect that if they pay you, they want that much of work to be get done as well. So if you need work-life balance, then you can look out for other firms. But then if you are okay, if you want to make money for the next 1 year, after 1 year you want to switch, and if the decision of getting to these companies is a short-term decision, then definitely go for it. But then, couple of things you need to take care in mind when you apply in a certain company. Now, many a times I've seen, no, we have a job opening. I don't get my area of role is very niche. I'm not getting opportunities. This company is okay. At least I'll give an interview. No, I would suggest don't go in an interview with this mindset that, hey, let me go and just check it out. No, go with a mindset to crack that interview and come, and go with a strategy, and problem statements for that particular company is well open. That's the reason, coming back to my topic, watch business news, have a look at the economic times daily, especially if you're a finance student, especially because economic times gives you so many insights, my god. And financial forecasting is also one of the biggest roles which have a major demand in the market. Financial forecasting help, that is a role where you are a financial advisor to the organization, stating that your financials look like this, and there will be a hunch if you take this decision, and this would be a pro or a con for you if you take this decision. This is a financial advisory role, but financial forecasting role is also demand in the market. So again, you can look into that too. And also, once you research about the role, organization, industry, I think you are good to go ahead with the interview for a particular company. But then, even when you approach or when companies come to your campus, make sure you communicate well with them. Now, many a times we lose out the words. We know what we have to suggest the answer or what we need to suggest the solution, but we run out of words. So whenever you have that, just tell them to, I would like to take 2 minutes to frame the answer and come back to you. And they appreciate that. So, you need to be honest. The other thing is connect on LinkedIn and research. So, what whom to connect? Not HRs. I've been spammed by students like many a times. So, uh, no point in connecting to recruiters. I would suggest connect to those professionals who are working in that particular role. For example, if Sonali wants to go for a financial advisory role, okay, and so what the approach which I was suggesting is, Sonali can approach a financial advisor of a particular, for example, if she aims to get into this role for KPMG, so she can approach a financial advisor who is working in KPMG. Networking is never a bad option. It's always a good option to network. In fact, even I was not communicated that networking actually brings you results. So network with that person, just ping that hey, I am Sonali. Okay. Hey, this is Sonali, and we wanted to know more about your role because I aspire to be in that position, or not in that position, but in that role. they will be happy to network and they will be happy to help. So I have been there. I have been interacting with such. So I aspired to. Okay, I'm sharing this story. So I wanted to be at Google as an HR. That was my dream. And I cracked the interview also, but in the last stage of the final interview, I fucked up with one question. And this, I just took it up. So, my God, it was so bad for me. But then later did I realize that after 2 months, Google was laying off recruiters, especially if the recruiter is on a third party payroll. So, it's like even if I cracked all the rounds of interview, but then in the last phase, I was just gone. And later did I realize that one of my friend who got the same role which I wanted to, she got laid off. So if you apply to such companies like Google, Facebook, PwC, consulting firms like Deloitte, you are actually taking a risk because they are hire and fire companies. If they don't see any revenue getting generated from the industry, they will first cut employee cut. So you need to be very strong in that. Wherein the companies like JP, investment banking companies, Deutsche Bank, and such companies are good. I haven't heard of any layoffs so far from them. HSBC is also one of them. Very, very good organization to work with. They have couple of financial benefits to the employees also. So one of the best institutions to work with. BCG is also best institutions to work with. I also gave an interview with Goldman Sachs, but their only problem is the hike. So they don't have a good hike system. So hence, and this is not only me, I have heard with couple of professionals. So that is the only challenge with Goldman Sachs. Yeah, so go with solutions. Make sure the role which you are applying is a niche in itself. They are not generic roles. Accountant is a generic role. But if you specialize in accounting, like for example, if you are only in cost accounting, you are specialized to it, you are competent. So you are into a particular niche. Go into a particular niche. Why? Niche job roles are high demanding in the market because there are few competitors and good pay scale. Because since they are found very limited in the market, and henceforth their pay demand is high. So it's always recommended to find a niche in your area. So for finance, investment, banking is a niche. Any POV on industrial training for CA student? What kind of profile offer? So, there are a couple of profiles do they offer, but then it depends. It depends on the open position and on the organization structure as well. If you're working, see, the funda is simple. If you're working in a startup, they will they will they will just tell you to do everything. They will not give you a specific KRA because it's a startup. You are bound to do it everything whatever is there in your plate. And everything will be there in your plate because you will be among those 2 or 3 CAs, you know, not more than that. So you will be among those 2 or 3 people and they have to get their work done. So you have to do everything. But if you apply to a certain kind of a company, um, big companies, they have a different KRAs to offer. So the job profile depends on industry and the open positions and of course the org structure. And also one thing before winding up, um, I would suggest never go to designations. Now, couple of students. Okay, hold on. How many of you love to go or to enter into a corporate, okay, with a manager designation? Just let me know if yes. If you want to enter into a corporate with a manager position in hand. How many of you? Just comment yes in the chat box. My God. How to get directly? Okay. I will come back to it. Definitely, I'll come back to it. Just pin myself on the spotlight. Yeah. Would like to start from the entry level position. This is perfect. Sumit, your answer is perfect, but then there's a catch to it. I'll come back to it. Okay. So, of course, everyone would like to enter into a role with a manager position, right? But then, when you look at the designation levels of financial institutions, they have higher designation, but the role is limited to a manager. So, I'll give you an example. Now, I have 6.5 years of experience. Okay. And now the same person also has a 6.5 years of experience, but then the person is AVP or yeah, let me give you an example of an AVP working in PwC. Okay. So the grade structure starts itself from a manager, but the work which you do is very limited to an associate role. So exactly what I wanted to touch upon, because I understand many students, and this is very smart way of attracting students, of offering them a manager position. And exactly that is the reason it is very important to understand the roles and responsibilities for which they are recruiting you for. Ask them, what would be my KRAs if I get selected? So recruiters or interviewers always have, yeah, interviewers and recruiters always have a last question or a last segment open, that hey, do you have any questions for us? In that segment you guys can pitch in that, hey, I want to know about my roles and responsibilities if I clear this position, and they will help you out. Because once the offer letter is given to you, we are so happy that hey, we got a manager position. In fact, I was looking at a CV of someone like I'm talking about a year ago. I was looking at a CV of a financial professional. He had 6 years of experience. I was like, how come I'm a senior associate and he's a ADP? And then I got to know that companies like financial consulting firms and even uh, investment banking firms, financial institutions, they have such great structure that they start itself from a associate manager. So, is a very smart way of attracting and retaining talent. So never go by the grade, always go by the height as well as by the role which they want to offer, because this role, you need to do that particular role for at least minimum 2 years. So, I always remember um, we always have a discussion that never love your company, love your work. So, because, I joined erstwhile LTI, LNT Infotech. I joined in October 22. I was so happy that, hey, the culture is good, the working culture is good. October 22, I joined, 2022. And in December 22, I was like, what? It got merged up. My whole team of erstwhile LTI employees got to another role. I was the only person, working with all aliens of Mindtree, because Mindtree, I have never worked with Mindtree employees. and LTI Mindtree got merged in the month of November, December. I was like, what? In the month of those 3 months only. And I was like, what? And they were expecting things from me. In fact, I was a new joiner. And honestly, this is my case study. This is my bad experience. But I vocalized that experience that, hey, the person who recruited me, I spoke to him, the hiring manager, and I told him that, hey, I am giving you a month's time. Either you switch my role or else I'm leaving. And I didn't join this company because of culture issues. I was never aware that cultural change will ever take place. And such a culture I would never appreciate. In fact, I would like to go out if you don't give me another role. So, you know, fortunately, I got into talent branding after that. So, like from January 23 till May 23, I was just struggling with those folks because the culture was not good. Once the team moved, once the erstwhile LTI employees moved to a different role, and I was just under Mindtree with Mindtree folks, and every individual or every company has a different work culture, and work culture is shaped by the people only. So, the other thing which I'll come to the last segment is the corporate life. Now, as I earlier told you guys about the competitors, and I told you guys about this. I am competing, like I have a team member of mine who is a marketing professional. She is from IIM Nagpur. Now the thing is, she is super good in PPTs when I'm still learning. And I always feel that if I was a student, when I was a student, I wish someone would have told me that, hey, learn PPTs because this will help you. Because leadership don't see Excels, they see PPTs. Even though if you are a finance student, you would like to present reports to the leadership. They need a thought process, they need a clarity of thought when you speak to them. Now, what leaders I'm talking about? I'm talking about leaders like directors. Directors, I report to a director directly. But then that is also because of the role change, because it's a strategic role. Also, I would suggest in finance also there are monotonous roles and there are strategic roles. Credit and risk management is one of the strategic roles. Investment banking is one of the strategic roles. Identify which roles in your uh, specialized fields are strategic roles. So for HR, if I talk about this, training is a strategic role. Branding is a, if you have an employer branding, it is a strategic role. Digital marketing and marketing is a strategic role. So, move into strategic roles because strategic roles will give you that visibility to interact with the leadership team. They ask you strategies. They don't ask you what you work in a day. They just ask you what strategy have you invested your time in. You know, it's very, very important. And that's where, I felt my team member was very competent and I was still learning. I'm still learning. But then they have a grooming because as a student, they started learning about PPTs, they started that approach. So, you guys, as a student, I would recommend you all that start having a strategic approach to the things which you offer to someone in a plate, whether it is a particular task. It's a simple task of delegating work to your subordinates or being into an internship project. Start thinking strategically and start thinking what is the main outcome from this project that will help you deriving the outline of it. Okay, we got a question. What kind of role and work you had done in L&D Infotech project? Exactly, that's right. I was recruited for APAC hiring. And, as I said, my journey was roller coaster. But from May 2023, I switched to talent branding. and now I work with marketing professionals under there. And see, as an organization, as talk about LTI Mindtree, it's a growing company, and they have a lot of scope when it comes to internal movement. Many companies are rigid in their approach. How rigid? They don't give IGP to employees, or they don't have a flexibility to move to, change their roles. But this company has. So I would suggest, if you are looking to learn um, in your initial career, this is a good company to work with. That's the reason I'm not even looking out. I want to look out, but I'm not looking out because this company is not rigid. It's flexible when it comes to working hours, when it comes to working days, when it comes to your role, your KRAs. If you want to grab that particular mango from a tree, you can go ahead. It will be appreciated if it is benefiting you in your professional life. For example, I got a chance to host a workshop recently. So leaders, my immediate supervisor was like, no, Ritu is junior, she's a senior associate or senior executive. She's not even a manager. And, she might be junior. But then uh, leaders like a person is heading a TA India. He told, no, Ritu will be able to do it. And I got that mango. I hosted a session, and my supervisor, who was not confident for me to host that particular project or that particular workshop, and even his super bosses appreciated me. So the challenges come. It's all about how do you catch it and how do you put it. Okay, coming to placements, not to get diverted. Um, you should always keep in mind that the ones which you're competing now, the folks which you're competing with you now, are your level. But when it comes to corporates, they will be either high or low. And majorly, they will be high only, high in designation, high in pay package, high in their intellectual skills, because it's a whole world, it's a whole sea. So, you can't be scared. So, and also make sure you hold your hobbies. Hobbies, as in, I am a content creator from past 3 years now. I have an Instagram. You guys can go and follow me, Ritu Career Coach. And on YouTube, I am as a name Ritu Mehta 151. So I do create lifestyle videos on YouTube because YouTube, again, if you are a content creator, it's a hobby, right? So a particular person who recruited me before had a glance through my Instagram profile, and he knew that this girl has a social media presence as well. And then he took me, and fortunately, God's grace, in the month of May, there was new unit which was being formed, and I was the first person to come here because I had a social media presence. So what I want to tell you guys from this particular hobby is that your hobbies can also take you to roles which you cannot even imagine, to the roles which you always wanted to be. But your hobbies can take you there. So always make sure you yourself build a personal brand for yourself, because you may never know your social media presence, your hobbies, your activities can take you to places or roles in the organization which you have never ever thought of. So, how do you come to know the hike in the interview? Okay, so it comes by practice. How do you come to know the hike in the interview? Okay, so organizations have a standard practice of giving 30% hike. It's a standard practice. But then, how did I come to know that Goldman Sachs doesn't pay much? Or how did I come to know? Because I gave interview of that organization 2 times, and they were just struggling to give me a hike. And I already had an offer at that point of time. Still, the counter offer, like they were struggling to offer me, and That's how we come to know. But then 30% is minimum to ask for. Okay, every organization has a standard hike cycle, not a hike cycle, but a minimum 30% if you switch the organization externally. Now, internally, it depends. So, why people go in consulting firms like PwC, McKinsey, and BAN, and so on companies? Because they offer a good hike. Minimum hike is 10%. Wherein service-based companies like TCS, they have minimum hike of 2%. TCS is not a good paymaster, let me tell you that. But then, if again, it depends on the role and it depends. But then, internal hikes are not so good when it comes to TCS. But then, companies like consulting firms give you a very good hike. They give you a good variable pay also, and they promote you in the next 2 3 years. They have a good promotion cycle as well. So good company to go for, but again, hire and fire company. So every company has a pros and cons, but then you can always ask for a counter offer also. Counter offer means if you have one offer already, and if you're going to suppose ABC company and you tell them that, hey, I have an offer of 7 lakhs and I want a counter offer of 8 lakhs for say, or 9 lakhs. So you need to justify as well what things will you put in plate if you accept that offer, or if you join that company. What uh, what other things you will be able to offer, or what will you be able to put in their plate? Oh, spoke a lot. In L&D Infotech, that 7-month project you had done, it's your first job? No. So, I worked with TCS earlier, and before that, I worked with Capgemini earlier. Capgemini I was under a contractual role, and before that, I used to work in a consult consulting firm. Consulting firm as in a consultancy. Literally, I work like I just wanted to learn before completion of my MBA itself. I had given my last, not even last semester. Before that itself, I wanted to work. I was very crazy at that point of time that I want to work. I don't want to sit idle at home. And I started my journey from a consultancy. It's at Andheri. And then I got a job offer for a third party payroll at Capgemini. Worked there for 8 months because, of course, I was not on rolls of Capgemini. Then I got a permanent offer for TCS. I worked there for 3.5 years. Good 3.5 years. And then now, from 1.5 year, I am here at LTI. LTI Mindtree. Sumit has a question. I was working with JP Morgan as an audit intern. So willing to switch to HR now. Is it fine? Oh, okay. I would suggest firstly, it is very important for you, Sumit, to identify what what is the major reason of you switching from audit intern to HR. Why? First is that. Find out your why. Second is, if you have got your straight why, uh, good points, you have eligible and considerable points, then you should understand that if your why is fulfilled, then will you be able to do that work for 2 3 years? If that is another yes, then what is the pay cycle for that particular role? Now, let me tell you this. HR HR pay scale is very less as compared to marketing and finance. So if I talk to you about the career pay matrix, marketing people are paid very lucrative salaries because they are the first phase and they run marketing campaigns, and marketing is some of a very important pillar. If you have watched Shark Tank, you know what I mean. So, financial terms, marketing terms, how do you market, sales. So, marketing people, marketing career has a good pay. Let me tell you that. Initially, you might not be paid well, but later you will. You will earn good amount of salary. So, don't worry. Next comes in finance. Finance pay scales are good, moderate. They are good. They're not even moderate. They're good. Like First is marketing, second is finance. People are paid very lucrative salaries, if I tell you. So if you move into a particular role, but yeah, finance roles are also good pay master roles. The third is HR. HR is works like an underdog, if I tell you. So HR professionals are paid, of course, but after 15 years of experience, after 20 years of experience. Initially, it's a rigorous cycle and you are not paid well. We are always on a lower end. But it depends, huh? It depends. Now, if you are a campus recruiter, you are really paid well. Like one of my friend, uh, he got 100% hike from JP to from not even JP, from Infosys to JP, he switched in 100% hike. Now he's earning in, I can't even tell you. So, it depends on, but campus recruiter roles really work well. I mean, they really pay well. So, if you are looking for a career in HR, I would suggest go for campus recruiting roles. They really offer you good salaries. Okay, but Sumit, coming back to your question, you can switch. It depends on which role you want to switch. Will you be able to, you know, will you be able to work on the same role for the next 2, 3 years? And if yes, then is it okay for you to get paid moderately? Depends on which role. So, you do your research and then only you take a call on it. So do your research very well. Money, as far as money is concerned, as far as your role is concerned, as far as your hobbies are concerned, are you extrovert or introvert? Because HR professionals have to be very extrovert. Let me tell you that. We have a lot of talking to do. We have a lot of calls. We have a lot of strategic things to do. So and make sure you don't go into a TA because TA again gets monotonous. I started my career from TA only. TA is nothing but recruitment. Interviewing candidates is really a feather on your cap. But then interviewing also becomes a monotonous job if you do it for 3 years straight. So, Niharika has a question to me. I'm in FY degree college. Should I seek internships or just focus on building my knowledge through courses and other things you mentioned? Firstly, Excel. Learn Excel. Learn everything about Excel, please. Start doing everything on Excel now. Maintain your to-dos even on Excel. Do everything on Excel and learn PPTs. Those two things start now itself. Third thing is you can seek for internships, but it depends on which role you are in. So if you are in marketing, you can learn digital marketing. Can you comment, Niharika, which stream you are doing your specialization in? Marketing, HR, or finance? Just let me know. I will get more clarity. Accounting and finance. So start doing certifications because certifications take time. And you can also do CS, CFA, ICWA if you want to. You can go ahead with the entrance and, but start doing certifications. ACCA is a very good course. Focus on that. What else? Accounting and finance. Certified financial planner is one of the biggest demanding jobs nowadays. So you can go in that as well. Okay, Sumit has a question. Want to go to HR analytics or learning and development? Learning and development, you don't get a fresher entry there. Freshers don't get a direct entry in learning and development. I understood project where I'm I'm I actually created a blueprint on an initiative to upskill TA professionals. So for that I'm working with L&D team. But then L&D team, I don't think freshers, no. You need experience to go into L&D team because you meet a lot of people and you need to know the organization and the target audience. So, and what is the pain point of the organization which you want to improve from the learnings which you offer. So HR analytics again is a good Excel, learn Excel. Analytics. So in HR analytics, what happens is I have my best friend in which is my colleague also. I put a reel with her yesterday, and she's into HR analytics, and I met her through my networking. She's my team member itself. So HR analytics is nothing but they present reports to the leadership team. They do all the analytics, they do all the pie charts, all follow up, all graphs, and how many head count is there, how much revenue we are making, and what improvements we need to do. The whole organization analytics is done. So it's a good role. You can go for it. But for external hiring, many few roles are open. The only problem in HR is external hiring. For external hiring, major openings are in TA. So that's the problem. But then HR index you will get jobs there. Organizations like Oracle, they have, but they ask you to have a software hands-on also. So just check the job description. It depends. Okay. Any other questions? Have reached to the last. Have reached to the last segment. So I remember Ansh telling me to analyze his resume. 1 second. Ansh, if you don't mind, shall I share my screen and do it? Okay. But guys, if you have further questions when it comes to your resume, when it comes to mock interviews, when it comes to internship opportunities, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm available, and you can DM me as well. But do follow me. That's important. Let me just share my screen. Let me know once it's visible now.
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
visible?
Screen is visible.
Okay. So this is Ansh's resume. Audit. Okay. Um, previous business response. No, this is fine. Internship training. This is he was very serious. Family goal. I would suggest advanced Excel you should write if you know macros and slicers as well. See, acha, have you completed articleship, Ansh? If you can unmute yourself and talk because I'm not able to see the chat here. Acha, okay. No. Okay. One suggestion here. Achievements are good. Kudos to you. But then I don't think this achievement will help you in your career uh, progression, right? You can remove this. Put the achievements which will help you in career achievement. Or you can just write crisp in a crisp sentence that uh, I'm winning, and you can just write a crisp line that you are a sports champion for football as well as chess, in the field of football and chess. You know, and just write crisp. Wow, this is nice. Secured the second position in Shark Tank competition. Wow, I was not aware that Shark Tank is happening in the college level also. Great. This you can mention. This is something different, right? But I think the sports one you just club it in one sentence, and certifications you highlighted in bold. So the valuation school equity research cohort, Google digital marketing course. Okay. Forage, Citibank, investment, virtual internship. You should actually highlight this. Essential. This is fine. This doesn't hold much importance. Excel essential training. I have to see what importance will this hold. But then this should be highlighted first. It should be uh, written in a chronological order. Rest is good, but I feel achievements should be written down and certifications should be written up. Because again, for a fresher resume, certifications are important, and that is written in the bottom. You should always write about. You can either mention certifications and then education, because certifications really play a very important role. If you have put anything in the chat box I am not able to see, you can just unmute yourself and yeah, I think good. Achievements should be lowered, certification should be put up above, and education should be below. Like the segment should go like above, about is good, go ahead. Work experience, skills, which accounting softwares? Name them.
Ma'am, Anush is in library right now, so he can't unmute.
Sorry?
He's in library right now, so he
Oh,
can't
okay.
unmute.
No problem. It's okay. So he needs to mention accounting softwares. Which accounting softwares? Because here we just can't. And skills, certifications about education, and then achievements. That is how the order should be. I hope I cleared. No problem, Ansh. I hope I cleared all the queries, right? The rest is good, but just be specific to what you mentioned in your resume. Okay, no problem. But all the best if all the best to all the students who will be pursuing articleship, or all the best to all of you. And if you have any hobbies, like if even if you like to create content, let me know. We'll just collaborate, or make sure you amplify your hobbies. Make sure you never make it die, because read books. Finance and marketing professionals read books. Even for HR, read books. For HR, I have a wonderful book. It's on Google, hiring process. I forgot. It's a yellow colored book, hiring insights from Google. It's a very good book. So, read books. There's also one book which is Extreme Ownership. This is by US Army. So, this is Extreme Ownership is also one of the fabulous books. They have a case study also there where they were in two boats. The teams were in two boats. One team won and the other team lost. And when the leader of that particular team, the team who won the challenge, the leader of that particular winning team was shifted to the losing team, again the team won. So it depends on how you inculcate your leadership skills, because your leadership skills will take you somewhere where you dream or aspire to. So, all the best. And let me know if you have any queries. You can connect to me on my social media channels. Um, you know, You can follow me on Instagram. I have a award here. Then YouTube as well. I do create YouTube also. I mean content on YouTube. And yeah, any questions you can comment in the chat. Else we are good to wind up.
So we are at the end of this session. If anyone has any questions, so ma'am can answer that question. So okay, I think all are done. So amazing. It was a very interesting, amazing session. Personal branding to placement, salary hike, work environment, as well as many terminologies. Ritu ma'am covered in this masterclass. This is the importance of this masterclass. So now I would like to thank to Ritu Mehta ma'am for joining with us and guide us about personal branding on the occasion of International Women's Day. So this masterclass has been the wonderful opportunity to everyone who wants to be the best during placement. Once again, thank you to our principal Pooja ma'am, vice principals and faculties in charge, and also very much thanks to all the participants who joined this session and make the session to success. Once again, thank you to Ritu ma'am. It was a great conversation with you, and we will also look forward to connect with you. And we will see you, all the participants. We will see you in the upcoming master class organized by our best MCom committee of HR College. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We really had a wonderful session. It was really insightful. Thank you on behalf of the whole committee.
Thank you. And if you all don't mind, I would like to take a picture. So I would like to, just inform to just turn on your video so that we can just click a group picture.
Sure, ma'am. Guys, please switch on your cameras.
Oh, so lovely people. I can still see. Yeah. Guys, turn on your videos. Still waiting. Yeah, I'll just click a picture. Thank you. It was lovely to interact with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.